Do you question whether I can be monogamous?
Felipe, nobody knows you better than you know yourself, yeah? And if you don't have faith in yourself, why the hell would Tori have faith in you? Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Queenie. For those who don't know me, reviewing Married at First Sight, Season 20, Episode 12. Before I get into it, please make sure to like this video, subscribe and hit the bell, and leave a comment down below. We pick up with the continuation of Adam and Marissa's session at the table, and most of the people at the table are like, we don't understand why you think that it's a must for you to be with a female version of yourself. It's quite unreasonable for you to not budge on this matter.
Why do you have to have the same hobbies?
Good question, Cam.
Think you could get to a point where you're playing 20 to 25 hours a week?
No, I'm gonna say absolutely not.
I'm at this crazy level, just really trying to push myself. I feel like she's the normal one in this situation. Like, I'm the one who's kind of like not ordinary here.
This is Adam taking it seriously.
The experts and the people at the table are commending Adam on being able to realize that Marissa does have interests and hobbies that she wants to get into as well. And they're like, you know what? For a man who's not very serious, he's deciding now to be serious. And we love that. And I'm thinking, I still have a lot of question marks, because you mean to tell me they're how many weeks into this process and he's only now asking, hey, what do you like? What do you want to do? And actually, he's not even asking. Everybody else is asking. This man can't even say, you know what, let me do something for Marissa. Whether or not he knew what she liked, like, let me do something for her. Let me try to romance her. Let me try to, like, we're supposed to be making a decision on if we want to stay married to this person. And the lack of curiosity is very alarming to me. You're sleeping with this person every damn day. You got a handful of weeks left, and you don't think it's odd? You don't find that suspicious that you're not curious about this woman? There's no props coming from me. Tori says that she's interested to see how arguments are going to go between herself and Felipe. In the last episode, Felipe was saying that. So I do think that they have to navigate the whole conflict resolution part of their relationship. And then here goes Felipe talking about, yeah, every day I just keep finding these reasons on why I want to run away. Excuse me?
My single life was so incredible. As I'm going grocery shopping or walking downtown, I find myself literally thinking of ways out. You want to get married for the rest of your life today? I would say no.
You ain't Peter Pan, man. You're gonna grow up. Snap out of it, man. Come on. Like, seriously.
If I was Tori, this would be the last day you would see me. Because what do I look like sticking around with a man who doesn't know if he can be monogamous? With a man who's saying he's actively looking for reasons to leave me, then leave. I'm so glad that Tori was like, okay, whatever you're going through, that's a you problem. That ain't got nothing to do with me. Because the way that she was moving was it the last episode when she was talking with her friends? It felt like she was making way too many concessions to make this relationship work. I was worried that she was going to lose herself in this marriage. But thankfully, she's like, that is a you problem. And you got to sort that out. I know what I'm looking for, and I know when enough is enough. And it seems like we're getting close to that point where enough is enough. And I'm shocked that Felipe is acting this way, because every time he's talking to the cameras, he makes it seem like he's just so into Tori and he would hate to lose her. But you're basically doing everything to do just that. How is this going to keep her around? Please tell me quickly. Mecca chimes in and he says he understands where Felipe is coming from. He has similar worries playing on his mind, but you know what? As time goes on, he realizes that Belle is somebody who he wants to commit to, and so he's going to make the effort to make that happen. Belle also chimes in and she's like, yeah, and by the way, I do not appreciate how y'all were trying to paint my husband.
Let me just clear one thing up right now. Mecca is not performative, he's exaggerated. I was not a fan of how we were painted. Everything he has said about me has been genuine, behind closed doors and in front of everybody. I get the same Mecca.
Now, I personally still think that Mecca was being performative. But Belle Jolie is like, listen, my man is authentic. My man is the same on camera and off camera. Whether he's exaggerating or not, he's still being himself. I said, okay, girl. All right, sister. Okay. I hope that when all is said and done, she's singing the same song. There's a lot of caping going on for Mecca, and I just hope that when it's all over, she can say the same thing, because I still believe that she's lying to herself, but she keeps telling everybody adamantly, he is being himself. He is being honest. We are both very honest people. Okay, Belle. All right. Now, I saw another creator break things down between Belle and Mecca that I was like, that is real. If we rewind back to the wedding, we obviously know that Logic, Mecca's dad, is very performative himself. He says a lot of crass things. He acts out a lot. And we see similarities between himself and with Mecca. Mecca's not as crass and crude, but he does act out, right? With Belle, also rewinding to the wedding, her mom was very nurturing towards Mecca, especially seeing that there was an absence of nurture in his life. His dad is here acting like a freaking toddler. Somebody had to be the parent in the situation. And similarly, we're seeing those traits in Belle. Like, he acts out, she comes in as mommy, and I know, like, the whole mommy issues thing, like, girl, why would you say that? But it kind of gives, I'm looking for a mommy. And Belle, I think she's slipping into it and she's not even realizing. Like, I get supporting your man. I get coming to his defense, but okay. Next to talk about their journey is Nick and Courtney. Nick starts off by commending Courtney on all the strides that she's made. You know, he's happy for more affection and more checking in. And she says she's happier, but she doesn't look very happy. She then goes on to say that she's doing all these things basically as a means to an end. She does not enjoy doing these things. Caitlin chimes in and she's like, man, I feel like I should take notes. Yeah, I think you should. But then again, should you? Because Courtney is very unhappy.
I need to make sure that he feels secure in this relationship. I think he's happy. I don't think it's something that, like, I need. I mean, of course I like it, kissing or whatever, like, but at the same time, I'm making a lot of changes, and I didn't hear one thing that Nick said he was doing. I don't know what you're doing.
Oh, okay.
At this point, I do not know what Courtney wants. I don't know what Courtney's looking for. It looks like no matter what Nick does, she's always going to find a problem. She wanted him to be more goofy. When he's goofy, she wants him to be more serious. When he's serious, she says he does nothing to progress this relationship. Girl, what? Girl, what? She's like, yeah, I've put in all this work, and what has he done? He hasn't done anything. He hasn't done anything. Girl, you can't be serious. You cannot be serious, but you know what? Fine. Nick is like, I do open up about my life, and I've asked you about your life and all those things. Oh, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like, okay, girl, clearly she doesn't like this man. She wants to be with somebody like Adam. She wants to be dismissed. Michelle and Cameron talk about their relationship. Honestly, Cameron has made the most strides, in my opinion. I think he said he's even looking into a month-to-month lease so that if he does need to move to Seattle to be with Michelle, it's easier to do that. And, you know, he's just reimagining what his life was going to look like now that he has a person in his life that he truly wants to be partnered with. And I'm like, this is great. This is so nice. They speak very highly of each other and they talk about the future and stuff. So right now, if there's anybody who's going to say yes, it's got to be these two. I would be shocked if they don't say yes. Truly, I'd be shocked. Then we cut to Devin and Caitlin. Devin is like, guys, it's at the point where I don't even think she likes me as a friend. I said, damn, things are really that bad?
I still question if she likes me. My way to adjust was just to pull away. I was getting there.
Some credit.
I was getting there.
I feel like this is just a shit on Caitlin
Not
session.
at all.
I'm not gonna say the entire week was perfect. Like, help me out a little here.
Well, I really, really like Kate.
Do you like Devin?
Yes.
I get that not everybody is very affectionate, and for Caitlin, this is unfamiliar territory for her, but like, at some point, I think we just have to admit that she just doesn't like him like that. She likes him, she thinks he's attractive, you know, but obviously there's something that's not connecting fully for her, and so she's refusing to, okay, maybe not refusing, she cannot bring herself to be the woman who Devin wants her to be. Number one, it's not in her. And number two, there isn't enough desire for her to bring that out of her. So she feels like this is a shit on Caitlin session. And I don't think that he was shitting on her. I think that he's allowed to be honest about his experience. Maybe he could have framed things better by maybe starting with the positive and then leading into things that could still be worked on. But yeah, listen, Caitlin, I gotta side with Devin on this one. Even when other people are reflecting on the dinner party, they feel like Caitlin is not putting in a lot of effort. They even think that Courtney is doing more work than what Caitlin is doing. She says that Devin should focus on the positive things that are prevalent in their relationship. It should be noted that they are few and far between, but she does say that there are positive things. I get what she's saying. I do think that the positives should be acknowledged. That's why I think Devin could have handled it a bit better. But when there is a clear disparity like this in their relationship, I think that it's risky for her to be like, oh, just focus on the positive when the positives are clearly very little, because this is how people get stuck in toxic and abusive relationships. If you're just to focus on those little moments of happiness, ignoring all the bad that's going on, that's how people get into these cyclical patterns, right? And so I hear what she's saying. She is contributing, but realistically, she's not doing enough. And I would actually I was going to say I want her to outline the things that she's done, but she has said that before. But I don't know. Even when she's talking here, she's like, I just need a few days to just be by myself. A few days in a marriage? Girl, the process itself is a handful of days. Like, what? We can't take you being a recluse for a few days. That's taking away a big chunk of time where you could be bonding and forming a decision on whether or not you guys should be together. So I think she's moving in real time. And unfortunately, that doesn't work for Married at First Sight. You need to pick up the pace. You need to make a decision very quickly. So yeah, maybe there could be potential if these two met but maybe not. Maybe not, because Devin says even in the real world, this is too slow for me. So I don't know. I think there would be a higher potential if they met organically. But in this process, how she's moving is not conducive for what's supposed to be happening here. It's just not. At this point, I don't know if it's even worth fighting for. There's a couple that's going to call it quits in the next batch of episodes. If I'm putting bets, it's going to be them. It has to be them. Sean takes Nikki to his home, and this man is talking about all the things that Nikki has been doing lately that is the wifely thing to do. And I'm thinking, oh, it's almost like you have a list of duties that a wife is supposed to do, but if you say that, you know he's going to get upset. Anyways, his home, quite lackluster, especially in comparison to her home.
Gotta clean up a little bit, but this is where I don't have anything to eat. We still need to, progress things physically.
All right. How do you sleep on this? I would not live here.
You've done more than a little bit with this.
Thank you. This is the living room area.
Comfy? It's not so mind-blowing in my mind. I come from a very bougie group. All right, we're the same kind of bougie. I love that.
Yeah.
And Nikki says she expected things to be more pristine, especially considering the way that Sean speaks about himself and how he speaks in general. The man gives himself hoe baths. What more did you expect? I feel like we saw exactly what we would have expected based on how we've seen him act on the show. But anyways, heading over to Nikki's place, it looks beautiful. He has an apartment, she has a home. So already her space does seem more suitable for a family to grow, if they are to grow a family. This man, he's always on a mission to humble her, I swear. He's like, oh, she is a certain type of bougie and she definitely thinks she's the most bougie person in the room, but I am surrounded by a lot of bougie people and she's nowhere near. Well, he didn't say nowhere, but the implication was she's nowhere near the upper echelon of bougie that I'm used to associating myself with. All that bouginess around you, and it never rubbed off on you, not even a little bit. This man is then even going to say, I feel like we're on the same level of bougie. Marissa and Adam have their first solo session with Dr. Paz, and her question to the couple is it so important to be this intense in life? And we find out that Adam himself had a lot of intensity when he was growing up, and clearly he resented it. So why now do you expect that from your partner?
I've always been an all-in or all-out type of person. It was just instilled from my dad at a young age to just always do your best. Has always really pushed himself in anything he's done. I did lessons for 13, 14 years. And they also made me do Boy Scouts. And I remember I hid both.
Does your partner need to rise to that level of intensity?
I see my life extremely physical. I just love it. It just makes me feel alive.
Adam opens up about having to do a lot of extracurricular activities when he was young and feeling like he was forced to do them. His parents were very regimented, especially his father. And so now it's ingrained in his mind to strive for excellence all the time. It should be noted that he's resentful of that. And so now he lives a very regimented life that it seems, I don't even know if it's something that he wants to do, especially because he talks about going down a dark path, when he was drinking and all that kind of stuff. And so he does all of these intense things to keep himself from engaging in that kind of behavior again. I feel like this is all due to his childhood, right? So you engaged in very reckless behavior because your life was so strict, and then you saw how destructive that was. So now you're overcorrecting, which also doesn't seem to be having the best effects. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be received well, at least by your current partner. So he has an ex-partner who did engage in the same activities as him, but as great as that relationship seemed, it dissolved for reasons I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, it dissolved. So maybe let's try something different. Maybe let's tap into the things that Marissa wants to do. It's okay for you to just chill 1, maybe 2 days out of the week. It's crazy for you to think that she's always supposed to cater to you, and there's no amount of catering that is, coming from you. So Marissa opens up about the fact that she was a very anxious child, and then she evolved into a depressed teenager. And when she's in a high stress situation similar to this, she does slip back into that anxious child that she once was. She says that depression is likely not something that she's going to experience again, but she is feeling very anxious. And Dr. Paz is concerned because she feels like the way that Adam shows up is a trigger for her. So they're just trying to find a balance. And he says he's willing to, lean into the things that she wants to do more often. I think that he's just saying that. I don't really have faith that he's going to do that. Dr. Paz makes it clear that she understands that Marissa is just trying to be a good wife, but she deserves to have a voice in this marriage, and she should not bite her tongue in order to just appease her husband. That is not what a healthy marriage looks like. She cannot overcompensate her way through this relationship. It's just not going to work. Cameron takes Michelle to his home in Portland, and she's loving it. He's like, I'm bringing you not to convince you to move, but I just want to show you an alternative life that we could live. And you know what? As time is going on, she is considering Portland. They go to his family home. And I know he's saying he's not trying to convince her, but this felt very, let me try to sell you on Portland.
I used to roam this neighborhood with my friends. I kind of want our kids to be able to do that.
Look at that entrance.
Beautiful door, hey? My parents saved everything. These are my trophies.
I could spend more time here for sure. Cost of living is way better.
Moving to Portland might be an option.
I want our kids to have this great kind of childhood.
Aww.
And as much as I think that Cameron has made a lot of improvements from the time that we met him, I still have question marks around his career. So he's really trying to drive the point home that Portland is a good place for family, and that's where he wants to be for the foreseeable future. But his own career isn't solid, and there's no certainty that he's going to stay in Portland if he stays in this field. So I just have questions about that. Like, what are we going to do about your job? He's not settled on giving it up or staying in it completely. So that's just where my question is. Michelle, though, is seeming to be flexible regarding this whole situation. So I think that they're able to work it out. I just want to know. I want to know what the plan is if his job requires him to up and leave Portland. The episode ends with Tori saying she's sick and tired of being sick and tired of Felipe and his bullshit.
Why go through this process if you're not sure? I think he genuinely thinks we're good right now. Worried you're gonna cheat on me, then what are you doing this for? I just don't understand his thought process at all. Indecisiveness about his player ways. Figure it the fuck out.
I mean, what more is there to say? This man keeps teasing the fact that he wants to cheat. Like, what are we doing? He reminds me, what was that man's name? AD was with him. Clay. Oh my goodness. The way that Clay would keep bringing up, oh, my dad was this, my dad was a serial cheater. I don't know. I just don't have faith that I'm going to be able to be monogamous. I just don't have faith. I just don't have faith. How many times do you have to tell me that you have a fear that you're going to step out on me? Am I just supposed to accept that reality? Like, I'm confused. For somebody who's so scared to lose Tori, he doesn't seem to be putting things into place to keep that from happening. Like, how is she supposed to perceive this? If you are so scared, you're so terrified that you're going to cheat, how about I leave you alone? So you don't have to be afraid of nothing. You won't have to cheat. You can simply engage in consensual, hopefully, non-monogamy. Go ahead and do that. Being married is not by force. Coming on the show was not by force. And can you imagine when he was asked at the dinner party, well, why did you get married if clearly this is something that you're not comfortable with? He's like, oh, but I thought I was sure. And I'm mad at the experts too, because when Felipe was talking about, being unsure if he could be monogamous and stuff, the experts were acting shocked, like it was a revelation. Y'all knew that when he was cast to be on the show. Don't piss me off. Do not piss me off. Another couple who could maybe end things in the next batch of episodes could be these two. I'm gonna place my bets on who was it? Devin and Caitlyn, but the runner-ups would be these two. They need to break up. The way that Felipe is moving, they need to break up. So sorry. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.